That includes whatever your theological, spiritual, political, sexual, or racial orientation or gender identity. You are all welcome to worship here with us today and become a part of this community. Do we have any announcements? Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'll try to keep it brief. As a reminder, throughout the month of April, we are collecting donations for the food pantry. So any Sunday morning service or any of our events, if you have any non-perishable food items, toiletries, or even if you want to donate cash or grocery gift cards, bring those in and add them to the pile. And then after the month is over, we'll bring them up to the food pantry. It's also Pledge Month. So if you were not here last week and you did not receive a pledge packet, please let me know and I will get you one. Your pledges give us an idea of how much we can expect in tithing for next year, which helps us budget. We don't want anyone to promise more than they can offer. We would like for it to be, reasonable and appropriate for what you are able to contribute. You do not have to contribute anything. Your membership is not contingent. You also do not have to be a member in order to pledge. The pledge packet gives you all the details, so if you didn't get one, just let me know and I'll make sure you get one. Along those lines, May 4th is going to be our annual meeting. We need to have a quorum in order to conduct business. I don't know what number the quorum is, and Susan is not here to tell me, but it's a pretty high percentage of our membership. So if you are available on May 4th, please stay and participate in the annual meeting. There will be childcare. We have a couple of older kids who have offered to watch the little kids. So that should not be a concern. Again, you do not need to be a church member to attend the annual meeting, although you will not be able to vote on any business, but you are welcome to sit in and listen and offer your opinion on anything. If you are a member, you can vote and you should vote because we are democratically run. Before the annual meeting, if anybody is interested in joining a committee or running for an elected office, we do have some openings coming up. There will be spots on the Prudential Committee open. The treasurer position will be open. The Prudential clerk position will be open. So if anybody is interested in learning more about those positions and what they entail, please see me and I will be happy to tell you all about them. All the other committees, building and grounds, fundraising, outreach, music and worship, and religious education, are always accepting new members. So if you are interested in learning more about any of those committees and what they do and what role you could potentially fill in those committees, you can either speak to a member of those committees or you can speak to me and I can probably answer 80% of your questions. So if you want to learn more, just find me during coffee hour and I will talk your ear off about, how much we would love to have people join committees or run for offices, especially since we've had so many new members join in the past couple years. That's always really exciting when we can get some newer people on the committees and offer fresh perspective and new energy. Anybody who is on a committee already, committee reports are due to Susan no later than April 27th. She needs time to put them all together and print them out before the annual meeting. If you need help putting your report together, you can see me or you can ask Susan. They do not need to be crazy comprehensive reports, just a summary of what your committee has been up to, any challenges you've been facing, any ideas of what you want to do for next year. So that's kind of the big important stuff. We also have a few new events and meetings coming up. We have the next movie viewing for our UUs in the movies coming up Thursday, April 17th at 6 p.m. It's a recommended donation of $5 per person. We're going to be selling food. We're going to sell slices of pizza too, so if you want to eat while you're here, that will be available. But we're viewing Cool Hand Luke. And we picked this film because Paul Newman was a Jewish Unitarian Universalist. The next new thing is we are starting a 6-week intuitive meditation workshop. It is, there is a small fee to participate, which is $60, and that's for the whole 6 weeks, so it's basically $10 a week. But we will not turn anybody away. So if you can't pay any of it or the full amount, that's fine. Just let us know when you register. If you want to register, see me or Mike or email us. Again, it's a 6-week workshop, and it's designed so that each week you build off of what you learned the previous week. So it's not set up so that you can hop in and out as you please. You're supposed to sign up and do the whole course. So if you need more information on that, there's flyers in the lobby, or Mike can answer any of your questions. That is also a Rockland Cultural Council grant program. So that's why the fee is relatively low, is because we are subsidizing it with grant funds from the town. A reminder that every Saturday night at 7 p.m., the Friends of Dorothy AA meetings meet in the back. So if you or someone you know is looking for an AA meeting that is queer friendly, that's your place. And we also have a new support group that will be meeting here weekly Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. It's a trans support group, and it's for trans and non-binary individuals who are church members of the Rockland community and the surrounding areas. So if anybody is interested in that, again, that's a trans and non-binary support group, Wednesdays at 6 p.m., also in the back hall. And that's brand new. The first meeting is this Wednesday. I think that's it for me. Thank you.
I'm also to tack on to the Cool Hand Luke announcement for dinner and a movie. I don't know if we'll have hard-boiled eggs, but we'll see if we can. No minimum that you have to eat. Debbie, you have announcements?
Yeah, I just wanted to announce the yard sale coming up in 2 weeks. We have items, it's happening within, and then we'll make another announcement. The hours will be working that week prior to the yard sale. And it is a bake sale, so if you're going to be able to donate something for the bake sale table, you can see and let me know. That would be great.
But yeah, items that are donated for sale have to be priced in advance, right?
It should be,
Yep. And any large items like furniture, if you donate it, but it doesn't sell, has to go home at the end of the yard sale. All right, last call for announcements. Well, I'm going to tack on one more. I'll make it real quick. Thank you, everyone who made last night's coffee house happen. And for those who were able to attend, especially for our open mic performers, I think it was one of our best. So always grateful to everyone who comes out. It's a fun time, and it takes a team to put it on. So thank you. And with that, I will now turn the pulpit over to our visiting minister, Reverend Lynn Ford. I'm happy to welcome her back. This is her third time here, and we've missed you.
It is truly an honor and a privilege to be with you today. Thank you for this opportunity. For this one moment, know only that you are loved, that you are safe and whole and loved. Know that you belong here, here among us, upon this earth, in your body, however tired or broken your heart may be. Whatever fear, disappointment, anger you carry, for this hour, know you are not alone. Feel the presence of others surrounding you, breathing beside you and with you, discovering together the way our voices rise and fall, together in harmony, in hope. Claim here a resilient freedom, the choice for love, for light, to live with joy and gratitude and praise. Come, let us worship together.
Please stand as you are willing and able and join us in reciting the words for the lighting of the chalice. We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love remains. And then the affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth, its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
And now we sing hymn number 95, There is More Love Somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
And now is the part of our service where we share our joys and concerns with the congregation as we are willing and able, so that we can celebrate our joys together and offer each other comfort on our concerns. Let me grab some fire from the chalice. Julie?
Joy for our friends at UU Wakeman. A few months ago, they started a campaign to raise money to restore Harris Organ. And I'm pleased to say that they met their goal of $10,000. Plus, they are also getting $13,000 from their grant funds from Mount Whitman. So we're on their way.
Congratulations to UU Weymouth and their successful organ fundraiser. I'll light a candle of joy for last night's coffee house. Like I said, it was a good one. Gray? Agreed. Well, thank you for being part of our community. And we look forward to seeing what bridges we can build with other communities that support and love the same people we do. Levi. This is a candle of concern for the disappearances of students, particularly ones holding visas for speech.
A candle of joy that might be controversial. The snow that we had this week was beautiful.
A candle of joy for snow for people who like snow.
Just for fairness' sake, candle concern for snow.
I'm starting to wonder what that groundhog's been drinking. Yes.
Candle of joy, I accepted grad school.
Congratulations. A candle of joy for getting into grad school. And for the financial concerns that come with higher education. Candle of, yes, for our economy. In which not all boats rise with all tides. Yes.
I have a candle of joy for my parents joining the Unitarian Church of New Haven with me 7 years ago.
Okay, so a candle of joy for members of the Unitarian Church of New Haven for the past 70 years. It's gotta burn. Jude? In the words of Hamilton, to the revolution. Allison? Yes, craft night's coming back. Every first Tuesday? Yes. In Abington. Yeah, not here. Gray? So a joy and concern for the protests, the 51 protests that happened recently and upcoming ones. And hopefully they stay safe. Corinne?
I know from the joy for two really big interviews that I have for a position that I wanted for a job for a long time.
Well, good luck. Diane?
A joy for a family member that has successful hip replacement.
For a successful hip replacement. Levi? We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Candle of Joy, we have now 3 left. We don't have to do them all, but we can. June.
One of my sisters, and she's done most of life, living this, and we had her here for 15 years. And,
That one's not going to go. Family moving. All right, I'm going to light one more for all those joys and concerns we carry with us and may not be ready to share. All right, not that one. Maybe this one. Yes.
Let us pray. Spirit of life and love, be with us now as we allow ourselves to focus at the center of our being, our hearts. As people of faith, we seek to live in a spirit of love, a spirit of community, justice, and peace. At times, we may fear that love will not be strong enough. At times, we may question whether love really is at the root of all things. In this world with so much struggle and suffering and discord, we may struggle to hold on to our faith in love. In the stillness and silence of our own heart, we read the imprint of love created not by our own will, but planted there for us to discover. By what or whom we cannot know, and yet it is there, a light within. May it guide us all as we seek to act wisely and well. May it help us to be vessels of compassion for one another and for our world. Amen. And now we sing Spirit of Life, hymn number 123. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
And now at this time, we will accept an offering in support of this church, its ministries, and its many services to the community. Please stand as you're willing and able for the dedication of gifts. You find the words in the order of service. Thank you. Please be seated.
I start with a quote from the Sufi poet Hafiz. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. In her autobiography, A Rocking Horse Catholic, the 20th century English mystic Carol Houselander describes how an ordinary subway journey in London transformed into a vision that changed her life. She writes, "I was in an underground train, a crowded train, in which all sorts of people jostled together, sitting and strap-hanging workers of every description, going home at the end of the day. Quite suddenly, I saw with my mind, but as vividly as a wonderful picture, Christ in them all. But I saw more than that. Not only was Christ in every one of them, living in them, dying in them, rejoicing in them, sorrowing in them, but because he was in them and because they were here, the whole world was here too, here in this underground train. Not only the world as it was at that moment, not only all the people in all the countries of the world, but all those people who had lived in the past and all those yet to come. I came out into the street and walked for a long time in the crowds. It was the same here, on every side, in every passersby, everywhere, Christ. I had long been haunted by the Russian conception of the humiliated Christ, the lame Christ, limping through Russia, begging his bread, the Christ who, all through the ages, might return to the earth and come even to sinners to win their compassion by his need. Now, in the flash of a second, I knew that this dream is a fact, not a dream, not the fantasy of legend of a devout people, not the prerogative of the Russians, but Christ in man. I saw too the reverence that everyone must have for a sinner. Instead of condoning his sin, which is in reality his utmost sorrow, one must comfort Christ who is suffering in him. And this reverence must be paid to even to those sinners whose soul seems to be dead, because it is Christ who is the life of the soul who is dead in them. They are his tombs, and Christ in the tomb is potentially the risen Christ. Christ is everywhere. In him, every kind of life has a meaning and has an influence on every other kind of life. It is not the foolish sinner like myself, running around the world with reprobates and feeling magnanimous, who comes closest to them and brings them healing. It is the contemplative in her cell, who has never set eyes on men, but in whom Christ fasts and prays for them. Or it may be a charwoman in whom Christ makes himself a servant again. Or a king whose crown of gold hides a crown of thorns. Realization of our oneness in Christ is the only cure for human loneliness. For me, too, it is the only ultimate meaning of life, the only thing that gives meaning and purpose to every life. After a few days, the vision faded. People looked the same again. There was no longer the same shock of insight for me each time I was face to face with another human being. Christ was hidden again. Indeed, through the years to come, I would have to seek for him, and usually I would find him in others, and still more in myself, only through a deliberate and blind act of faith. So, the question you may all be thinking at this moment is, who is this Christ that Carol Houselander saw permeating and radiating from all her fellow passengers? Christ for her was clearly not Jesus of Nazareth, but something much more immense, even cosmic in significance. Christ is a word that many of us use often, but often too glibly. I believe it's important to properly understand what Christ is. First, Christ is not the last name of Jesus. Christ is a name for the transcendent within of everything in the universe. the transcendent within of everything, everyone in the universe. Christ is the energy of the infinite horizon that pulls us from within and pulls us forward too. Christ is a name for the immense spaciousness of all true love. Lady Julian of Norwich wrote, "Know it well, love is its meaning. Who reveals this to you? Love. What does he reveal? Love. Why? For love. Remain in this and you will know more of the same." For Pierre Chardin, a French Jesuit priest who trained as a paleontologist and geologist, love is the very physical structure of the universe. Gravity, atomic bonding, orbits, cycles, photosynthesis, ecosystems, force fields, electromagnetic fields, sexuality, human friendship, animal instinct, and evolution all reveal an energy that is attracting all things and beings to one another in a movement toward ever greater complexity and diversity, and yet, ironically, also toward unification at ever deeper levels. This energy is quite simply love under many different forms. Love is a universal language and underlying energy that keeps showing itself despite our best efforts to resist it. It is so simple that it is hard to teach in words, yet we all know it when we see it. Love is a paradox. It often involves making a clear decision, but at its heart, it is not a matter of willpower, but a flow of energy willingly allowed and exchanged without requiring payment in return. That is unconditional love. Divine love is the template and model for human love, and yet human love is the necessary school for any encounter with divine love. If someone has never experienced human love, it would be very hard for them to access, imagine, or even experience God's kind of love. Conversely, if someone has never let God love them in the deep and subtle ways that God does, they will not know how to love another human in the deepest ways possible. Love is constantly creating future possibilities for the good of all concerned, even and especially when things go wrong. Love allows and accommodates everything in human experience, both the good and the bad, and nothing else can really do this. Nothing. Love flows unstoppably downward around every obstacle. When you've been included in the spaciousness of divine love, there is just no room for human punishment, vengeance, rash judgment, or calls for retribution. We certainly see none of this small-mindedness in the risen Christ after his own rejection, betrayal, and cruel death. We don't see it even in his inner circle or in the whole New Testament. Jesus' death and resurrection event was a game changer for history, and it is no surprise that we date our calendar from his lifetime. The crucified and risen Christ uses the mistakes of the past to create a positive future, a future of redemption instead of retribution. He does not eliminate or punish the mistakes. He uses them for transformative purposes. People formed by such love are indestructible. And forgiveness might just be the very best description of what God's goodness engenders in humanity. When we release the offending party from any need for punishment or recrimination, we bear witness to Christ energy. We love like Christ energy. We can truly do good to those who hate us. So I'd like to tell you a story. Old Joe lived way out in the countryside all by himself. His best friend was also his closest neighbor. It seemed they had grown old together. Now that their spouses had passed on and their children were grown, all they had left were their farms and each other. But for the first time in their long friendship, they'd had a serious disagreement. It was a silly argument over a stray calf that neither of them really needed. The calf was found on the neighbor's land, and he claimed it was his own. Old Joe said, "No, no. Now that calf has the same markings as one of my cows, and I say it belongs to me." They were stubborn men, and neither would give in. Rather than hit each other, they just stopped talking and stomped off to their respective doors and slammed them shut. 2 weeks went by without a word between them. Come Saturday morning, Old Joe heard a knock on his front door. He wasn't expecting anyone and was surprised to find a young man who called himself a traveling carpenter standing on his porch. He had a wooden toolbox at his feet, and there was kindness in his eyes. "I'm looking for work," he explained. "I'm good with my hands, and if you have a project or two, I'd like to help you out." Old Joe replied, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I do have a job for you. See that house way over yonder? That's my neighbor's house. You see that creek running along our property line? That creek wasn't there last week. He did that to spite me. He hitched a plow to his tractor and dug that creek bed from the upper pond right down the property line. Then he flooded it. Now we got this creek to separate us. I'm so darn mad at him. I've got lumber in my barn, boards, posts, everything you'll need to build me a fence, a rail fence, all along that creek. Then I won't have to see his place no more. That'll teach him." The carpenter smiled and said, "I'll do a good job for you." The old man had to go to town for supplies, so he hitched up his wagon and left for the day. The young carpenter carried the lumber from barn to creekside and started to work. He worked hard and he worked fast. He measured, sawed, and nailed those boards into place all day long without stopping for lunch. With the setting of the sun, he started to put his tools away. He had finished his project. Old Joe pulled up his wagon full of supplies. When he saw what the carpenter had built, he couldn't speak. It wasn't a fence. It was a beautiful footbridge with handrails and all, reached from one side of the creek to the other. Just then, Old Joe's neighbor crossed the bridge. His hand stuck out and said, "I'm right sorry about our misunderstanding, Joe. The calf is yours. I just want us to go on being good friends." "You keep the calf," said Old Joe. "I want us to be friends too. The bridge was this young fella's idea, and I'm glad he did it." The carpenter hoisted his toolbox onto his shoulder and started to leave. "Wait," said Joe. "You're a good man. My neighbor and I can keep you busy for weeks." The carpenter smiled and said, "I'd like to stay, but I can't. I have more bridges to build." And he walked on down the road, whistling a happy tune as he went. So the story highlights the power of forgiveness and the power of love. And now we sing hymn number 100, Peace Like a River. I've got 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 peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. You may be seated. In the midst of challenge, in these hard times, let us look first to the response of love. In the midst of challenge, may we feel love in our hearts, bearing witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In the midst of uncertainty, may we journey on as a beacon of encouragement, that our values may guide our choices. Let us look first to the response of love.
Please stand as you're willing and able for the extinguishing of the chalice. You can follow along with the words found in the order of service. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains. Thank you. Please be seated as Maddie plays our postlude.